So this showed up from my friend, Jet Guitars. Shall we unbox it? And as usual with my unboxing videos, I don't have any fancy tools or swords. Let's try and open this bad boy up with a pick. See if it works. Always does. First box is open, I think. Ooh, that worked well. There you go. Fun. So let's put that on the ground. Bubble, 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 and more bubble. And more bubble. And more bubble. That's a lot of bubble. And there we go. Damn, this is heavy. Ooh, nice. So let me put it down carefully. Let's get rid of this. If you've seen any of my videos here, somewhere here, I've reviewed a few Jet guitars and I absolutely love them. Really great value for money. Let's see what's in here. You see, a pick is not just for playing guitar. Okay, that's done. I don't think we need this anymore. Let's turn it around. Jet bolt. And I swear that obviously this is the first time I've seen it and I didn't know the color. And I can already tell you that it kind of matches my outfit. Can you tell? Or maybe it clashes. I don't know. But before we do that, usual stuff from Jet. A lead, truss rod, and a golden whammy bar. Let's get rid of the box as well and open this bad boy up. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to take a second to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Flexispot. Here's the thing. Studio life is not easy. You spend long hours hunched over at your computer whilst recording, mixing, then obviously you have creative blocks, so it makes it even worse. And just to top it off, back pain. Now, there's not much we can do about the first two things, but the back pain, you can do something about that. Enter the Flexispot standing desk, and this could be your secret weapon. So you see now I'm perfectly comfortable in my position, but in a couple hours, you want to record those final tracks standing up? Well, let's do it. By simply pressing the button, here we go. And now I've got all the convenience of being able to play guitar, record, edit, do whatever, but standing up and therefore giving my back a well-deserved rest. There's very little building to do. It will come very quickly to your door and it works perfectly. And save your settings at your desired height. It's a space-saving design built for your workflow. It's neat. You can choose tons of different options for it in terms of size and materials. And I've got to say, it really made a massive change to my workflow and my creativity because I'm just able to do it for longer. I couldn't recommend it enough. Links below. And that was the Flexispot standing desk. Oh, wow. It's pretty bling, if you ask me. Oh. Jeez. Can you guys see this? It's sparkly. Let's take this off. Nice touch, by the way, because this always comes loose or gets broken. Wow. Damn. First impressions are really good. It's got a nice smell to it. Is it in tune? Nope. Jet branded. Tram. I think before, if I'm not mistaken, they had Wilkinson, didn't they? So let's check that out. It looks nice. See the block. Wow. It's got a really nice block in there, so should hold tune. The usual 4-bolt construction here, roasted neck. Can't really tell, everything smells very new. Nice. Okay guys, just before we start, I wanted to let you guys know that Jet Guitars loaned me this guitar just for a review and to get my impressions of it, because I was very lucky and fortunate to be one of the first guys to look at the original JS400, and they wanted to get my views on how and if they made it better, because you guys know that I really like this guitar. So straight off the bat, let's just talk about how it looks, right? Because I actually think it's really, really nice. I was a bit surprised when I opened the box, as you saw in the unboxing, but it's starting to grow on me, and I really like the finish. The sparkly purple, I guess, looks really, really nice. And the gold is a bit too flash for me on this kind of guitar, but I'm kind of getting used to it, and I obviously see why they made that choice, because it does fit really nicely. As usual with the Jet stuff, they paid close attention also to the plastics. They're not that bright white plastic, so they look really nice. Pickups, same thing. And the headstock is always the classic Jet with the nice inlay. I've always liked the Jet headstock, and yeah, overall, I think looks-wise, looks very good. Before we start talking about the specs, I just wanted to mention the weight. I was surprised because it's really solid. It's not heavy, but you don't get that kind of feeling that it's going to fly off. It's a proper chunk of wood, and I always like that. And you know what? Let's just see more or less. I think it's more or less the same as the previous model. You guys are worth more than that. And for the first time, let's actually weigh this bad boy. So let's try not to break it. Let's weigh it properly. So this is a whopping 3.3 kilos. So don't ask me what that is in any other unit, because I don't know and I don't care. But yeah, as I said, it's a good, comfortable weight. Nice to hold. Feels really, really good. Let's have a look at the specs, and that is the real selling point of most of the Jet guitars. They are very affordable, and they've, along with other companies, really revolutionized the kind of budget, intermediate, inexpensive guitar to make it with really high specs. So let's check these ones out as well. As always with my videos, starting off at the top, really nice 6-in-line locking tuners, Jet own brand, but based on my experience, really, really good locking tuners. So very nice. Moving to the nuts, what else? A bone nut. So very nice. It actually feels quite nicely cut. We'll just test it out in a little bit when we play, but it looks good, feels nicely cut. Definitely a bone nut, really nice. You have a quite traditional 9.5 radius on the fingerboard and 22 medium jumbo frets. Just putting my fingers on them. Really good. And that was one of the main things about Jet guitars that surprised me, how good the fret jobs are. And these feel just as nice. Really, really nicely. Almost a little bit rounded. So great job there. Really good frets. Then, as you can see, a nice and dark rosewood fretboard. But the star of the show, and they've been doing this for quite some time, is their Canadian maple roasted neck. And you can tell that this is the real thing because it's just really nicely done. It's not painted over. It's not, faked. It's actually roasted and it looks really nice. Again, so smooth. Very good job, Jet. The neck shape is a very comfortable, really standard for Jet again, modern C. And, you guys will not have any issues playing this neck shape. Moving down to the body, you have a popular body, but they also claim that it's roasted, so it should move less. It should be a more stable body. So that's really cool. Beautiful paint job, absolutely no blemishes on it whatsoever. But really, the star of the show comes here because the previous version, the JS400, had ceramic pickups, and they actually sounded good for ceramic. But these ones have Alnico 5 jet pickups. So that on paper is a big difference. Then the other thing they've updated is a 2-point own brand jet trem. I think before that had a Wilkinson, everything else very standard, single volume, single tone, 5-way switch, so you can get all those in-between sounds. Okay, so just before we start listening to some sounds, I just wanted to spend 1 second to talk about the finish of this guitar and the quality control, because Jet really have pulled out all the stops here. I have inspected this quite closely, more closely than I usually do on most guitars. And you know what? I literally cannot find a single thing wrong. There's not a scratch, there's not a paint defect. The neck joint is perfect. The actual neck itself is really smooth. The frets are incredibly well rounded. Really up their game for this one. It is immaculate. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed those sound samples. I really tried to give you all the different tones and all the different textures that this guitar can give at differing distortion levels. Now, it's time to start drawing up some conclusions. First, we'll talk about the pros and cons of the guitar. Then we'll talk about who it's for, kind of its competitors in the market. And finally, we'll end up with my overall final thoughts. So let's start with the pros, because I like starting with positive things. My kind of thing when talking about Strat style guitars or super Strats, whatever you want to call them, is that generally, I've got to be honest, they are kind of boring. It's not my favorite style. If it's not, a 1960s heavy relic, something with balls and attitude, I generally find them a bit dull. I love the way they play, but aesthetically, I don't really like them. This is something that actually really grew on me. So my first pro is the look of this guitar. I actually really like it. I wasn't sure about the gold hardware, but now it's really growing. I think it looks cool. I think it's funky. It's fun. It will definitely light up the stage if you're playing on stage. And it's just something a little different that you don't see that often. So looks is my first pro. Second of all, we've got to talk about the quality control. I was so impressed by this. Jet have always been at the real top of the kind of inexpensive budget guitar brands in terms of quality control. But on this, they have knocked it out of the park. I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but this is an immaculately finished guitar. I did receive this from Jet just to review it, so it could have something to do with it. But generally, my experience is that all of the guitars that I've had from them, whether I've purchased them myself or played them in various guitar stores, have been really well set up, really well finished, no defects. So overall, I think Jet is one of those brands that really pays attention to the little details. And on this one, it's really, really nice. Some of the big brands should definitely pay attention. Kind of linked to that, the setup was absolutely perfect. If anything, I've got to say, it was almost too low for me. It doesn't really rattle anywhere, but it's almost verging on the too low for me. So in terms of setup as well, really good. And overall, just the attention to detail that they put in the bone nut, in the neck shape, and the frets, because they are really good frets. So as always, Jet is one of those companies that have historically made guitars with really good frets. Another pro, if you want to call it that, but it's quite clear on paper, are the appointments of this guitar. This guitar is extremely highly spec'd. As we mentioned, the roasted Canadian maple neck is absolutely unbelievable. Get a bone nut, locking tuners, a 2-point trem, Alnico 5 pickups. So it's really spec'd to a high level, and you know what? You really can't get any better than this. Final pro has to be these amazing pickups, because they are amazing pickups. I actually find them really, really good. Big selling point here compared to the previous version, which is this one, is the fact that they've updated the pickups from ceramic to Alnico 5. And these are amongst the nicest pickups I've tried on this kind of guitar. And having the humbucker single is often really difficult for pickup companies to get right, because sometimes they're not balanced properly, sometimes they don't sound cohesive enough, but these sound really good. These are quite vintage sounding pickups. They're, I want to say, vintage modern in the sense that they're not really high gain pickups. You know, you're going to struggle with death metal, but they have enough power, especially on the humbucker, to get you into that kind of hard rock, good old early metal. So the pickups are definitely worth it. Just before we move on to cons, I'm not going to put it in either category, but we just need to really quickly talk about the price. This is a sub £400 guitar, so $400 more or less. And I think it's rightly priced. I think the kind of specs that you get on here, the attention to detail, I think it's right. So I'm not going to put it in either of the two camps, because for this quality, it should be way more expensive. But I'm so happy that it's not. So let's talk about the cons, shall we? I think if we start off in the same way that we did with the pros, on the con side, I think maybe it could be a little divisive in terms of the looks. There are 3 other colors available for the 480, which are black and I think kind of a wine red. Personally, I think this is definitely the nicest one. I can see how it's not everyone's thing, but maybe some additional colors or some additional variations on the aesthetics would be nice. A second point, which I found was a bit weird, but I've got to make a little proviso. I actually don't give a crap. I don't care. And I actually like it more because of this con. But the humbucker, as far as I can tell, unless I'm missing some magical little switch somewhere, is not splittable or whatever. If you did want to have the ability to play 1, 2, 3 single coils, well, you can't do that. As I said, I don't give a crap because I prefer humbucker and the bridge on these kind of guitars. But some people may want that. And just to bear in mind, this immediately reminds me of the Harley Benton. Here we go, which is the, I think this one is called the, what's this? Modern Plus, and it's got splittable humbuckers. The general vibe of the Harley Benton is slightly more modern than this one, even aesthetics, but some people may have wanted that ability to split on here too. Just saying. Finally, let's talk about who this guitar is for and generally how it sits in that kind of market. Like the Harley Benton, this is a guitar that really sits way above what is normally considered a £350 guitar. This is a really professional instrument. You can easily play this for a number of years. It's solid, it's well built. I actually think this is a pro level instrument. It is very, very versatile. So it's something that you can use if you're a session musician or if you're in a band that plays various different styles of music. At the same time, if you're a beginner, Jesus, this is a really good guitar for a beginner. Easy to play, low setup. What else do you want? Perfect. You can learn on this and you can keep it for a long time. So I think this is a good guitar for everyone. So final thoughts, guys. I think this is a solid instrument. If you can afford £380 or whatever it is in your country, then do it, because it's a really, really good guitar that will last you a long time. It's so easy to play. I literally haven't put it down. Very little hand fatigue. It's fast. This is the new king of Estelle guitars. Jet have done it once again. What can I say? They keep rolling them out. Hey, better for us. We are so bloody lucky to have companies like Jet making these amazing instruments at really not so much money. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. It does really mean a lot. We are making really good progress on YouTube. So let's keep going so we can get those number up and I can get a load more gear to show you guys. Oh, and by the way, if you want me to kind of shoot out these 2 bad boys, drop me a message in the comments because I will do it. And I think it would be really fun. As always, please just be nice to each other. Have fun, love each other, be cool. Okay? It's a beautiful world. See you later.